Welcome to the Detroit Pistons News Nation. I'm your host, Steve, and on today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the wealth of glossary and definition terms as put forth by the NBA on their website. So I'm just going to scroll through these. Maybe I should use the down button. There we go. And the purpose of this is to show how many things on the court the NBA tracks and how to understand them. This is something I thought I knew much more about until I found this list and until I started to do a deeper dive on player stats, which I'm going to use soon in order to do a deep dive on the Pistons team as a whole as currently constructed, and also a series that I intend to do on who I believe the Pistons should target, maybe are targeting in trades and or off-season moves and contractual obligations to the team. We all know that in the off-season, the Pistons are going to have a lot of cap money, projected to be number one in the NBA. And that's because we are going to have Blake Griffin's contract come off the books and some other contracts come off the books, and we may potentially trade Jeremy Grant, and I believe also, if possible, Kelly Olynyk. And I sincerely hope he plays well enough the rest of the season to make that a certainty. We may also trade or waive Corey Joseph and other players may be in the mix for something like that. I haven't looked yet, but I think Frank Jackson may be a contender for that, but he also may be here as a nice spark plug off the bench because he definitely can score, and from what I've seen with the eyeball test, he's a solid defender. Now, this is a very unpopular take, I'm sure, but I would not mind if the Pistons chose to trade or bench Isaiah Stewart in favor of better players. As of right now, I'm thinking the Pistons should target DeAndre Ayton, Miles Bridges, and Jalen Brunson in free agency, as well as Mitchell Robinson. Now, if they can make the right trades to clear up cap space and do what they need to do to get one or more picks in the first round in the NBA draft, in addition to the one that they already have, I would like to see them draft Paolo Banchero, however you say that, and if possible, Jabari Smith, or one of the two. I'm not nearly as impressed with people like Chet Holmgren, because while he is an excellent defensive player from what I've seen, and a solid offensive player, they call him the unicorn, I believe that his frame is much too skinny for the NBA game. If you look at players of that kind of stature, they typically can't gain much more muscle and seem to get injured a lot. Look at people like Kristaps Porzingis. That would be one player I would look at as a comparison. He shoots threes well, rebounds fairly well, not as good as I think he should for his size. But overall, he's not going to kill you when he's on the court, and he's going to help your team a lot if he's playing to his potential. However, they say the best ability is availability, and he typically is not available. So anyway, as you see, I'm still scrolling through all of these definitions, and I may be going kind of fast, but if you'd like to view them, you're more than able to pause the video and go ahead and check them out for yourself. Now, this is probably a boring video for most people, but it is important to the videos that are coming next from Detroit Pistons News Nation. Just to show the things I'm going to be looking at and analyzing in order to see if the players I've already discussed are a good fit for the Pistons roster with who I believe will still be here next year, or if I should look for other players that may be better. The people I suggested already, I believe off the top of my head, would probably put us over the cap unless we trade Jeremy Grant, get rid of Corey Joseph, and potentially trade Isaiah Stewart and Kelly Olynyk. But if we are replacing these people with Paolo Banchero or Jabari Smith, and we are able to sign Miles Bridges or do a sign and trade for DeAndre Ayton or Jalen Brunson, then we will have the cap space for most of them. And there may be some other things we need to do, like move small contracts around. I'm not certain yet. I'm definitely not a GM. I wouldn't consider myself a complete novice at this. I've been following basketball ever since I was a kid and playing it. Still love to play, although my body doesn't love me to play as much anymore. But it's something I intend to be a lot better at, because with the eyeball test, I believe I'm a fairly decent scout. But when it comes down to breaking down numbers and analytics, I don't like numbers that much. But I do like the fact that they track so many things in the NBA, and that now that I've looked over these definitions, I am more capable of doing the same. And that's one way that you can become a scout. Another way, obviously, is to write down what you see, research somebody's character, and those are the kind of things I intend to do moving forward for my off-season prepper or during the off-season. But I do intend to have a series coming up in the next week or two with several videos outlining what I think the Pistons should do. I already gave you a brief synopsis of some of the thoughts I have, but I'm going to go into much more detail on these advanced stats and what I think the Pistons would look like with these stats and where they could rank in the NBA after what would likely shake out in the NBA if I get that deep into it. But at least what the Pistons team could look like, and maybe how it would compare traditionally to the teams of the last 5 years, winning in the playoffs and winning championships, etc. So how will the Pistons stack up? I'm not sure yet, but I am certain with the cap space they have, if they make the right moves, they should at the very least be able to reach the play-in next year. If not, I know myself and many other fans in Detroit will be highly disappointed, because this is a proud franchise. We had the going to work Pistons, we had the bad boys, and we've had some historically great players and great matchups against other great franchises, and we need to return to that. So anyway, this is the end of the segment for me. I hope you all have a great evening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Pistons News Nation. Follow us on Twitter at Pistons_Nation1. Be on the lookout for the website Detroit Pistons News Nation will be at DetroitPistonsNN.com. And we also are on Reddit with a Detroit Pistons NN forum. Please join us there so that we can talk Detroit Pistons.